as we look at this, kind of the grinding, the meat grinder, they call it, of Ukrainians being used basically as cannon fodder while NATO is fighting this proxy war against Russia and the US. It's US funded. One thing that's been really remarkable for this war is that usually the usual voices that are anti-war that you would expect, those progressive voices, those other voices that would be saying no war and calling out criticism for it, they're silent or they're voting for it. Like you had AOC and some of those progressives, Bernie Sanders, that voted for more weapons going to Ukraine. So now we've spent 114 billion towards this. In my opinion, it's a money laundering scheme that will be revealed at some point, and already there's things indicating that. Definitely the weapons manufacturers are getting what they need out of it profit wise. But what's remarkable is the way that in those press rooms, in those rooms, like for instance, when John Kirby was announcing about the leaks, saying that the media shouldn't report on them, the media complied. Fox News, CNN, New York Times even put in their article that they have not revealed some of the documents that were top secret. Well, then if they're top secret, then how do they have them? Yeah. So I guess because you've been doing this for a while, how has the media changed in your eyes in your lifetime from when you were coming forward and blowing the whistle to now?
Well, the media is joined with the government at the hip. There's nothing that the New York Times or the Washington Post will print that's really a bombshell without checking with the White House or the Pentagon. That's not an overstatement. And therein lies a real important point. In past situations of this kind, the New York Times, Washington Post have been able to suppress this information, not tell the story. Okay. I'll give you an example, Tara.
Okay.
In December 5th of 2017, okay, the head of the cyber firm that was supposed to do the forensics on the DNC computers and find out how the Russians exfiltrated all that stuff, he was put under oath. And what did he say? He said, there is no evidence, no technical evidence that anyone exfiltrated those emails out of the DNC, not the Russians, not anybody else. Now, I remind you, December 5th, 2017. You do the math. Do Americans know that? No, they don't. Could they know it? Well, yeah. Trump's people forced that into broad daylight by making Adam Schiff of the House Intelligence Committee publish that on May 10, 2020. Oh, no one took any note. Still, the New York Times didn't publish on that. The New York Times have kept that suppressed for longer than Adam Schiff did. So what I'm saying here is an important point, I think, namely that the New York Times always has the option of just putting this down. That's a bunch of crazy kids on a couple of computers.
Right.
But this time they didn't. Is it possible that they did this without government approval? No. Whoa, okay. What does that mean? In my view, that means that given the damaging facts, official facts in these leaks, somebody in position of some importance in the administration told the New York Times, go ahead and publish it. We have to get this damn war ended. Maybe if the Americans see how much they've been lied to by our major leaders, maybe this will bring an end to it. My reconstruction of how this happened is precisely that. Now, whether it was this airman first class or not, who knows? There'll be a lot of detective work done on that. There's at least one or a couple of documents that look like they came straight out of the CIA Operations Center.
Could you talk a minute, just a second, to explain to the audience, like some of those documents were gold. They look like originals. They're not copies. Okay. You're not looking at copies. You're looking at original documents, cables, whatever. Now he was a cyber journeyman, which means that he would have access, right? Maybe if he hacked, I don't know. Like he was E3, which that ranking, it's Fort Bragg is where he was working out of. These are Pentagon documents that some look like they came straight from a meeting, but they're kind of like all different subject matters. What is your thought about how someone of that ranking could get access to those?
It's a mystery, and that's why I say that I applaud people doing the detective work on this. Whether he acted alone, how he got access to CIA internal use only documents that, in my view, seldom, if ever, leave the CIA Operations Center.
Yeah.
It raises lots of questions. But I've been listening to people do all this detective work, and also complaining about the media handling of this. And I have to say that that's, of course, appropriate, but they're missing the forest for the trees.
Okay. What's the forest through the trees?
The forest is, the truth is out there. Ukraine can't possibly win this war. There's one Defense Intelligence Agency analysis that says, this thing's going to drag on into 2024.
Right.
And nobody's gonna win. Another one says, well, there may be progress in the spring offensive. They may go as far as 20 miles. I mean, the thing is damning. And in one sense, to the degree that people focus on the provenance of this thing, who did it and how did this guy and all that kind of stuff, they're missing the big picture.